I have the privilege of coaching the offensive line for the Royals. This is my second year as the offensive line coach. The leader of the group is Josh Perkins. He plays right guard. He's a 6'6", 330-pound dude, and he's a great leader for us, communicates very well, got a great heart, and just a blast to coach. The second senior I have is Ben Bjork, and he's just done a great job at center for us the last couple of years. He came back from an injury in the North Central game last year, and he's looking really good this year, and that leadership is something that's really needed for us at that position. The last senior that I have on the offensive line is Michael Freeland. I know you're wondering who that is. That's Bubba. Everyone knows him as Bubba. He's our starting left tackle. It's kind of anchored that position for a few years now. Just having a really good season, and expect big things from him as we close out the year and hopefully make a deep run here. But all three of these guys, their leadership is unbelievable, not just for the offensive line, but for our team as a whole. We kind of went into this year saying this group is the one that's going to lead us on the offensive side of the ball, and that's makes it a lot easier to do when you got the guys behind us that can make things happen in a hurry. So we relish the opportunity to be those road graders, to be those guys up front that can move the football when we need to get it done. And those three guys, in addition to the rest of them, I got Dylan Crum that starts at left guard for us, and then I've got a couple of guys that have played some right tackle for us. Kevin Olson out of Andover, he's a sophomore that's injured right now, and then Stein Johnson is a sophomore out of Minnetonka. And both those guys have done a fabulous job. And in addition to those guys, we've got some other great guys that just can't mention them all right now, but it's a great group to work with, and the future is bright here for the offensive line for the Royals, and we're sure glad to follow in the footsteps of many guys that have come before, going back to the days when I played with Chico Rowland. He was an All-American, and then we've just had some unbelievable talent here over the years, and we will hope to keep up that tradition of good offensive line play for the Royals.
Hey, I'm Joshua Perkins. I'm a senior offensive lineman for the Bethel Royals. I'm from Iowa Falls, Iowa originally, or God's Country, as some people call it. It has different names. But grew up there, grew up playing for Iowa Falls Alton High School, played offensive line my whole life. I play guard right now. I'm a business, human resources, and then youth ministry major, so two different fields. As far as what I'm going to do with those, that's a great question. I hope I find out sometime here in the next couple of months. As far as my role here on the team, I'm definitely more of a vocal leader. I do a lot of the communication on the offensive line, calling out fronts and calls and dummy calls and things like that, which I really enjoy. I really enjoy the X's and O's of football and kind of schemes and strategies, and so I really enjoy that and kind of relish that opportunity to lead in that way. I also try and bring excitement as much as I can, and a lot of that comes from my experience here at Bethel and seeing guys that I played with when I was younger and looking up to just right off the bat. People like Jared Penns, who I got to play with for 2 years, and looking at him and kind of seeing how he led and how he was very kind of specific with his words and said what needed to be said at the right time. And even guys like Jesse Fino, who were just rambunctious and loud and crazy, but brought like an incredible energy to practice, which is something that I knew that we're gonna need. And so I try as much as I can to bring an energy and an attitude, and also just kind of, I'm a pretty jolly person, and so an optimism and kind of a happy heart to work and to get better each and every day, which in practice I think is a really important thing. Obviously, like loving football, that's an important thing, but even more than that, loving the people that you're doing it with. In high school, I liked football. Obviously, I'm 6'6", 330 pounds. There's not that many other things that I can say that I'm really built for. But when I came to Bethel, I really found a group of guys that I was like, wow, I would lay my life down for these dudes, and I know they would all do the same thing for me. And that's a special thing, and you don't get that very many other places, and just kind of a community of people that say, hey, like, this is important, and I'm going to sacrifice of myself for you. And I'm not only going to do it on the football field, but I'm going to sacrifice in the classroom. I'm going to sacrifice time, outside of practice and film to be with you because it's important. And it's a pretty special thing to know that I'm playing football with guys that I'm going to be the best friends with for the rest of my life.
Hi, I'm Ben Bjork. I'm from Wayzata, Minnesota, play offensive line here, specifically center. My family had pretty strong ties to Bethel. My two sisters were going here when I was in high school. Dad involved here, and I think my mom was even going to grad school here, and that really turned me away at first. I kind of wanted to do my own thing. But through talking, actually it was interesting. If you would have asked me my junior year of high school where I want to go to college, I would have said I have no idea, definitely not Bethel. And so it's pretty interesting how I ended up here. Basically just through my senior year of high school, a love for football, talking with Coach Shea, talking with some of my friends, and then coming up here on a visit, I kind of got introduced to the special community and bond that the football players have here. And I knew that I wanted to be friends with people like that and be around that for 4 years. I thought that would shape me into the person that I want to be. Pretty cool as a high schooler coming to Bethel, and you see guys that you want to be like when you're in college or 4 years from wherever I was at that point. And so that's really what drew me here, was the people and the community, and then obviously football on top of that too. Overall, my experience at Bethel has been exactly what I'd hoped for in high school. I wanted a community of guys that would encourage me and lift me up, but also challenge me in a way and shape me into the person that I wanted to be. I think my 4 best friends probably are people I met within the first week of football freshman year, and it's cool to grow with each other. In a football aspect, you see them progress as players. Your friendship grows, your connectedness, and then watch them grow as individuals, whether it be, confidence in front of other people, or growing through their faith and what they're going through with their spiritual growth.
Bubba Friedland. I'm from Farmington, Minnesota. I play left tackle for the Royals. 5th-year senior, so I've been around a while. A lot of the guys on the team joke because they think I'm like 26. I look at some of the freshmen and I feel like I'm 26. I guess why did I come to Bethel? I think it was a big part. My dad came here, so I knew a lot of the coaches, and I kind of knew a lot about the program, kind of watched it growing up. So I had a pretty good idea of what the program was about. One of my favorite games we ever played, obviously, was last year when we beat St. Thomas. I think after we scored that last touchdown, I probably jumped up and down about 26 times. And that was literally the funnest game I think I've ever played in. The best part about playing O-line and that I'm going to miss is definitely just being able to eat whatever I want. My dad played O-line at Bethel, and he says he's been on a diet since he left, so I guess that'll be what I'm looking at the next, 40 years. I'll graduate with a degree in accounting and finance and a minor in history, and I actually heard last Friday that I got a job. So I got a job, which is nice, at Baker Tilly. So I'll be doing audit work for them starting in January, and then we'll go from there. We really appreciate your guys' support. I know, I feel like I'll definitely be a part of it when I leave. Hope to see you guys at a game.